All right, well, we're back on the Coach's Corner today, obviously, with Freddy Juarez, right before Game 3. And we'll get to that, Freddy. But I just wanted to ask you a little bit about Game 2 here at home. The team breaks that wall that is the Minnesota defense. They get to a hot start. What did you feel like worked well for the team, specifically in this Game 2 at home?
We feel we had a little more aggression towards the goal. So we know it's a team that's very good at defending. It's a really organized, really well organized team, and the goal for us was to really attack the back line and the spaces behind, whether through direct ball, whether through playing wide and playing across early before they can settle in, but also through moments where we maybe lost possession in those moments close to their goal that we could really. I think those were moments where they start breaking out of their shell to counterattack, and those were good moments for us to then naturally, if we win it back, there's a few more spaces that we could then exploit. So I think that was the focus last week. Preki did a really good job of relating that message to the guys, and a couple different little tweaks in the wide areas. You saw, the positioning of Jordan and Jesus. With that, it was really clear on what we wanted to do. The message was excellent for the guys, and you saw when we got into the final third, instead of guys all wanting it 2 feet, you started seeing more position where we wanted to attack. Yes, we still could go to feet, but we wanted to really be on top of them and get behind them. And you saw, especially in the first 40 minutes, we were so good at that. And maybe in the second half, not as good. So the goal is to try to continue that.
You obviously start this game with both Danny Masovsky and Jordan Morris. What is it that look does for you guys, specifically even for Jordan when Danny is on the field with him?
Yeah, it just, it has two, powerful guys, 2 goal scorers. Jordan's played left, right, center. So it kind of gave that confidence to the team where you also have, two number 9s that can maybe physically deal with their physical center backs, and then the goal was to have 2 numbers, but for sure there's times you can't get everyone in the box, but you can at least have 2 in with Jordan and Moose. But again, when you go back to the 40 minutes, we almost had 4 to 5 guys, at times 6 guys in the box, so guys really bought in. But that's what Jordan brings in, and then Moose brings in the verticality. They're guys in the box. Moose is a guy that really good at challenging in the air duels and winning, getting to the end of crosses, and as well as Jordan, and also they're guys that smell the little rebounds in those type of situations. You saw both of their goals, right? Mm-hmm. It's other guys make the first contact and they happen to be there. So that was the hope that we could get, and because they had that capabilities, and it ended up going our way.
Obviously, in this one, it might be hard to look at a formation because you guys are attacking with so many numbers. The graphic was that they showed from the team side was a 4-4-2 diamond. At times, to me, it looked like a 3-5-2. Do you think too much about the formation? Because conceptually, it seems like you do a lot of the same things.
Yeah, our guys have been evolving in the last 3 years, and I think even more so this year, where last year we were working a lot in the middle part of the field. Really, how do we unbalance the opponent? How do we get behind them? And now we've gotten into, I think we've grown as a collective where now we're pushing teams back into closer to their goal. Mm-hmm. And that's always a challenge for any team, and that's what we've really been harping on. And so, when you ask, is it sometimes a 3? Yeah, sometimes it's a 3 because maybe they have 2 forwards and are, marcando and attacking, active defending, and you got to match that up. Or sometimes they have a lone forward. It doesn't make sense to leave 3 backs, so you tilt and you go 2 center backs against them. It looks like 4. So the guys, again, with the 3-year process and the education that they're getting with our coaching and our style of play, they're starting to identify, when is it that we need 3? When is it that we need 4? When do we get that extra player between the lines? For us, the goal is to always have a 3-1 and 6 between the lines. That's the goal. It's not always, it's easier said than done because you got to have some possession to allow for guys to get into those areas. But I think we've gotten really good at that. Well, not really good, but we continue to grow in that. And you've seen growth, so you're seeing more attacks and us pinning teams back a little further. Another
thing that was interesting, and I'll try to move on here, Obed Vargas was really high. He was a guy that in the first game he only got 1 touch inside the 18. In this one, he just seemed to be all over that final third. obviously by design, but how important was he to unlock that defense.
Yeah, we didn't ask him to do anything different individually because he's the one that rotates up, and typically CR sits back a little further. What we did mention is we want to play more vertical. And if sometimes we hit that vertical ball, we might not make the contact, but we force them with so many numbers on their back line. Maybe it's a missed clearing. And if we follow that, follow that, you're the second line. You're basically the second wave. The odds are you're going to potentially pick up seconds. One is CR gets that one where they clear it, he pushes it down with his head and he gets across. So that was the idea with our pivots. One of you can stay, but when we hit a long ball, see if you can almost anticipate we don't make contact or whatever, and they do, that we're jumping on the seconds. And it, again, with the aggression, the guys, those first 40 minutes, you saw that everything we talked about came out. Doesn't always come out, but like, to answer your question on Obed, we've asked him. He's the one that gets the freedom to do that. But now I think he did it with more aggression, with more a little bit of this. I don't mean this in a negative way, but more selfishness. Hey, it's my shot. I have the goal. I'm shooting instead of looking for an extra pass. Give the extra pass when you don't have your face facing the goal, but when you're facing it, take your shot, and he did. So it's credit to him. He should have had another one before the first half ended. So credit to Obed for being aggressive. When the shot's there, take the shot.
Yeah, it was inches just hit that post. Cristian Roldan, it's almost been a breakout here, and it's kind of funny to say that because he's been so important to this team in so many ways his whole time almost with the Sounders. He gets a best 11 award or accolade earned it, and then he also earned once again a call up to the Women's national team. What's different, or what is it about Cristian Roldan this year that just finally everybody's seeing?
He's a different position. He's always been so important to the team, so you don't take that away. He's any position. He's been a warrior. He's been a good soldier. He helps the team in any regards, and I think he just comes back to what feels home to him in position-wise, that he probably grew up playing and more in the center of the park. And he has tenacity. He likes to be around the situation. He hustles, he busts, and I think, again, with our style of play, he's been very beneficial. And Precky's coaching, where he does works a lot with the pivots, and you've seen growth in him. He's comfortable receiving in tight areas. There's still growth. There's still more growth. There's still things that he can continue to get better at. But you've seen like a light, him almost like it's a new thing, and he's getting rewarded for what he did. And I would also go back to, we were fortunate enough to be in the FIFA World Cup of Clubs, and he played against the best teams. And if that's not enough to show you that you belong, I don't know what is. And I think he embraced it, man, I really am a pretty good player, and then confidence went up in him, and that was the best measuring stick, was against those teams. And our center mids have been so important to us, and Cristian does a lot of work for us. So I think it was just I'm back to where I am, and he's seen the benefits from all his labor.
Taking advantage that we have you here, I'll go a little broader on just two players that, although they haven't gotten a lot of minutes necessarily, every time they come in, they're heavy contributors. And we'll start with Danny Leyva and his growth. It seems like he's just kind of added another level to his game. What have you seen from him this year?
Growth. I think this is probably his best year. Probably we've gained trust, but that trust comes with him continuing to work. He's never put his arms down and I'm not going to fight. He continues to fight. You see him here all the time. He always wants extra. He's always doing extra. And then we do a good job of training the team where, when we can, we play a Saturday and we have the minutes to train everyone. We try to switch both groups up so everyone's getting the idea of what we want to do. So when they come in, it's not new to them. So we try to do a good job of that. And then again, individually, credit to him. This guy has developed. It's an interesting case study because he's continued to develop, even where the last few years maybe he didn't get the minutes that he wished he would have gotten. But because of his mentality, number one, his mentality, he comes from a really good family where the mentality is, you want to earn something, you got to fight for it. Nothing's given. I think he has that mentality. And then his work on the field, he continues to work. And then this year, when he's gotten the opportunity, now we can use him as a pivot. Now we can use him as a 10. Now we can use him as a winger like he went in the other day. Before it was does he defend good enough? Now you're seeing him win aerial duels, go down on the ground and tackle. He's becoming a more well-rounded player with us not taking away what his strengths are. Passing range, passing move, vision, intelligence. That he had. So he's adding the dirty work, if I may say, like the fighting, the tackling, the heading. When you start earning that, then you're like, as a coach, you're like, oh, this guy can go in and fill in for anyone at any time.
Love it. In the same, aspect, it seems like Georgie decision making. He's a guy that's always had that 1v1 ability, but it seems like he's really grown. What have you seen out of him in that aspect, and how much does playing for a national team and being in a different system, what does it do for him?
Confidence. I think when guys leave to the national team, they come back. They're excited to be back, but they're also, I'm one of the best. I got selected for something. Someone chose me to go represent, in this case, a country. That's a huge honor. So it gives you that confidence where you come back, you're excited to be back with your team, and then you want to show them what you've learned and what you've experienced. So you see that he continues to grow. We love his, he's going in the right direction. He can get better. Like everyone here can continue to get better. He creates a lot of chances. If he can create, doesn't have to create so many so something to come out. If he can be a little more efficient, he's always going to be an important piece to any team, to our team, because his ability to one-on-one, that's a gift. That's hard to teach. Now it's our job is continue to work on his final pass, his final shot. And to be honest, the way we played the other day with so many numbers in the box, it becomes easier for those type of players because now they have 5 guys to choose from. So he's going in the right direction. I think he's such an important piece to the team.
Just to wrap it up, obviously Game 3, what you did here worked, but clearly Eric's going to be ready for what
sure.
You guys have done. What's the key, and how much do you think of the adjustments that he makes? Is it a chess match, or is it more about just, this is what we need to do?
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart coach. He's an experienced coach. Matt's is a smart coach, experienced coach. I find it hard to believe that either team's going to change their tactics completely. There's a certain DNA that you're going to stick to and who you really are. But there'll be some tweaks where they may feel, I would imagine they feel like in those transitions they were pretty good, and then in the second half maybe they were a little more aggressive, and then we would look at it, well, they were a little more aggressive, so what do we need to do, but also what have we done in every meeting against them that's worked, and why did we score 4 goals last game? And they're probably thinking, if you mix these games together, and put that full game together, we can be really good. And we feel the same way. We put all our meetings, our 60% to whatever possession, 40 possession. If we create the opportunities that we created the other day in the first half, then I think we have a really good chance going into this final game. The only thing we can do is be ourselves and work on giving a good performance. At the end of the day, if it's not enough, it's not enough. But focus on who we are, then we should be in a good situation.
Is there one specific aspect that you guys have to excel? Is it intensity? Is it discipline? Is it finishing?
Carry the intensity that we did for those 40 minutes and be aggressive versus their back line. Not in front of their back line. Find the right balance of getting in behind the back line. And you play any team like that, any team plays us like that, it's trouble. When you have to turn and face your own goal, it's hard to defend. But when it's in front of the team, then we're pretty good at defending the box when it's in front of us. But like any other team, you make me turn and face my own goal and scramble, and it becomes difficult. So we gotta continue to do what we did in the first 40 minutes.
Last question here. When it comes to PKs, obviously that's something that's kind of hard to train for. Is that just you let the guys just train their own things? Do you go a lot into it? How much do you do when it comes to guys shooting specifically?
Yeah, Schmetz he has a touch for that. He's won a lot of shootouts. So it's the guys train it. We train it all the time, and you let them feel comfortable. Who wants to shoot? And the guys that raise their hand, those are the guys you go with, and you train it, and you give them some feedback. This the guy likes to. You have all the data. He saves this direction, maybe not this direction as much. You give that, but you can't overthink it because I don't want to change your mindset if you've always mastered a shot. The idea is put it away, and hopefully we block one, win the game.
Thank you.